my partner for my journey, which was my wife. Because of the monarchy and the West were trying to keep their hands, if at all possible, in the Balkans. And the Balkans were considered Romania, Bulgaria, Yugoslavia.
Pretty difficult. We were thrown out of school. We had to go to a Jewish school, which they formed as a consequence of being thrown out. And, you know, even when we went to the university, there were days when they were telling me, some friends of mine were saying, don't come tomorrow because it's going to be a riot.
I had to leave because we were told that in America is freedom and that you are free to develop your own talents and make money and see American movies and listen to American jazz, which were not very serious reasons to do that, but those are the reasons.
For Europeans generally, America was the promised land.
We were very young. We didn't know any other thing but to go to the movies and dance and, if possible, have a little sex. And that's it. That was all about.
We fled illegal, and we came to Vienna. We went by train. We left by train. We had to change from one station to another station, and we didn't have any money. All I had were, I think, 4 or 5 packs of cigarettes, cartons of cigarettes, which we thought we might be able to sell, but they were confiscated, so we had nothing. So I just took off a ring and gave it to the taxi driver to take us from one station to the other.
All the way to the International Refugee Organization. Asked my wife, do you type? Yes. Do you speak Hebrew? No. No. I just write Hebrew, but I don't speak Hebrew. Well, I have 2 positions for you. One as a typist and one as a Hebrew teacher. That salary will be enough for the 2 of you to go ahead and be here until you finish your stuff. Soon enough, Scotty came over to the camp. Here is your visa for America. We're going to America. But we were happy. And, you know, our hopes were high. We were told, you know, that it's going to be a rough crossing, 12, 13 days. And so we arrived at New York, port of entry.
I wanted to assimilate and be an American.
We chose to mix up with everybody, so not to be stopped by the fact that there are not enough people from my own country to mix with. to mix up with everybody, to become part of the general community. The challenges were the language and the ability to make money.
We used to watch television till 3, 4 in the morning and talk with the commercial, repeat the commercial.
Well, my folks spoke with a pretty heavy accent, but I couldn't really hear it because I grew up with it. But everybody else could hear it. So they knew that we weren't from around there. I don't think I even really knew I was Jewish until, well, like second or third grade, when I started to do Hebrew school. I didn't want to learn Romanian, I didn't want to learn Hebrew. I wanted to be an American. And Americans don't speak Hebrew and they don't speak Romanian, they speak English. That's what I wanted to be. And I wanted to be like everybody else. It's probably because my parents didn't want to be identifiable as different. There was a boy named David who found out that I was Jewish, and he would pick on me because of that, and he'd push me and stuff like that. And then there was a teacher too that, at least in my mind, unfairly punished me and said some things about Jewish people to me, and I got pretty upset about it. And then when I told my parents about it, they didn't want to do anything because they didn't want to cause a stir.
Suppose that their ability to reach high position socially are curtailed by the fact that they are not born here. Or even some of them might be born, but they are still considered newcomers.
I decided to go to St. Olaf College, which was a Lutheran school. And again, there, everyone would go to chapel. I was the only Jew in my class. So I didn't go to chapel. I'd hang out in my room. So I was, again, you're different. You don't do these things. Everyone else does those things, but you don't do those things. And I don't do them because my parents suffered and I didn't want to dishonor them. The first time I went to counseling, I would tell the counselor that I had this despair that was kind of hanging over my head. And eventually he said it was because I hadn't asked my parents about their Holocaust experiences. So I went to a support group for children of Holocaust survivors. And I was in that group for about 11 months. And I learned how to ask questions. So eventually I asked my parents what had happened. And a lot of bad things happened to my parents and their families. They lost a lot of property. They lost people that they loved. They lost their freedom. But my imaginings of what had happened to them were worse. So even though what had happened was bad, it wasn't as bad as I imagined it to be.
I don't think I would have done anything different.